All right, thank you, Jesse. Guys, thank you everyone for jumping on. Like Jesse said, just so happy to have all of you guys on this afternoon. I start off every webinar, you guys know, as entrepreneurs, salespeople, business owners, your time is your most valuable asset. So we don't take your time for granted. I'm excited to talk to you about the topic today, but I can't believe it's literally June. So I want everybody to think for a second that's on this webinar. I want you to think about the goal you set out in January. I want you to think about that transaction goal, or maybe it was the commission goal that you set out in January for yourself to achieve in 2019. And I want you to think about where you're at in hitting that goal. I've been coaching a lot of agents recently, and some are way ahead of their goal and others are behind their goal. And the number one question we get from real estate agents and our clients is, Luke, how do I generate more leads? How do I get more leads to come into my pipeline? Because ultimately I'm trying to hit this goal. And I think I do a great job at real estate, but I'm struggling to generate leads. And really that's where this topic of this webinar came from today, is really trying to help you guys solve this problem of what is a way that you can generate leads. As I've been doing this, and I'm going to turn my camera on real quick because I want you guys obviously to see me. And I want you to see that, hey, look, I'm a real business owner just like you. I'm a real individual. I'm in my office here in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Some of you might not know where King of Prussia is. It's literally next to the second biggest mall in America. But I'm a real business owner like you. And just like you need leads, I obviously need leads for my business. In the years I've been working in real estate, I've really seen that there's really, like 8 different categories that you can get leads from. And those are categories like getting referrals, getting repeat transactions, using social media. But one of the categories is this concept of farming. And within each lead generation category, you have different tactics. And what I want to walk you through today is I want to walk you through this idea of planting the seeds to build these client relationships, which is ultimately this tactic and strategy of farming. And I want to walk you through, if you don't know what farming is, you're going to learn what farming is. If you don't know how to choose a farm, if you're starting out in the business, I'm going to teach you some tips on how to choose a farm. But most importantly, I want to give you guys a tangible strategy that you can literally implement tomorrow for the rest of the year to help get you closer to your goal. I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself and the company because we do have some people on. Most of the people on, we had over 1,200 people register for this. Most of you are clients, so just want to say thank you and a shout out to our clients listening to this. But some don't know of ReminderMedia. You're coming into us fresh. For those who don't know, my name's Luke Acree. I'm the president of ReminderMedia. ReminderMedia is a marketing company that focuses on helping you increase your sales. We've been doing it for about 15 years. Our core belief is that your sales are going to be coming from building relationships with your people in your community. You might call it your database of contacts. You got to get people to know you. You got to get them to like you. You got to get them to trust you, because if you get that trifecta to come together, you can ultimately share your value proposition and they'll use your expertise as a real estate agent. And that has been our heart and soul for the last 15 years, is helping real estate agents connect to their database of clients to generate referrals and repeat business. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, Luke, if you focus on referral and repeat business, why are you talking about farming? And I want to share a little story with you guys, which will lead me right into this topic of the webinar. About 2.5 years ago, I felt this conviction that, we have been really, our mission here, if you go to our website right now, remindermedia.com, what you're going to read on our mission is to empower our clients to close more deals and retain more business. That's what we wake up every day to do. We do that through our flagship product like American Lifestyle Magazine. We have a social media component. We have all these different tools, but that's the mission. And about 2.5 years ago, I felt this conviction of, hey, am I really fulfilling the mission in every way that I possibly can as a business to empower our clients to close deals and retain the business they have? And so my brother ended up being willing to get into real estate, my younger brother. So he just left his job, got into real estate, didn't have a ton of money, and it enabled me to test so many strategies that I had been preaching for so many years that I had seen work, and really venture off into new subject matter. And what's awesome is through this journey, in his first year in the business, he did 38 transactions his first year in the business. His second, he did 78 transactions. This year, his goal is 120 transactions, and I believe he's going to hit it. So Stephen, if you're listening to this, I believe you're going to hit it. 120 transactions, but one of the ways we've generated leads consistently is through farming. And I want to walk you through what I've learned through farming, and then I want to walk you through what I've been coached through farming, what I've learned from other real estate agents that have practiced it and had success, what I've learned from people who are experts in this industry. So let's dive right into this topic. I'm going to turn my webcam off now because I tend to stand up, and I'll give this caveat, guys, because I drank a Monster energy drink before I jumped on here. And one of the things I'll share with you is this is all recorded. I talk super fast. I'm super passionate. I want to give you as much golden nuggets as I possibly can, as many tips as possible. So write down, take notes, but this will be recorded. It will be sent out to you. So let's dive right in, and let's start with what is farming, and let's start with the idea of what you need to go into this mindset-wise. If you want to do farming today, for everybody on the line that's looking for instant gratification, you might as well jump off the webinar right now. And I know that's not what I want to happen. I want you guys to stay on and listen to me, but the truth is I need to make sure you understand from a mindset perspective, when you walk into this strategy of lead generation through farming, you have to know that it's not an instant gratification game. Literally inherent in the word farming is this long-term concept. Think about it in the terms of growing fruit or growing, vegetables. You have to literally till the ground. You have to plant the seed. You have to put the water on the seed. You have to prune, weed, all that good stuff to finally reap a harvest. And farming is the exact same method in real estate. You have to put in so much work up front, and you have to consistently go after it for it to reap a harvest. So you have to have the mindset that it's a long-term game. Now there's two types of farming that you can do. Most of you on the line will probably end up doing geographic farming. But the difference is you can have two different types of farms. You can have a geographic farm, or you can have a niche farm. A geographic farm is literally choosing a market area or choosing like a zip code, a neighborhood that you want to go after, and you end up getting that neighborhood and all the homes in that neighborhood and start prospecting and start marketing to that neighborhood. Whereas a niche farm is really going after a target audience. So what would that look like? A good example is maybe you're a luxury real estate agent, and you want to go after all the million and above homes in your area. So you grab a list of all the million and above homes, and you start going after and prospecting and marketing those homes. So you can go after niches, or you can go after geographic farm areas. Now, what I would share with you on this is, go ahead, actually, before we do that, because I want to get some engagement, actually, go ahead and tell me if you're farming right now. So Jesse, can you put that poll up on the screen? So there should be a poll up on the screen, because I want to make sure I tailor this webinar to where you guys are at in your business. I know we have a ton of people on, but if you could take a second, just tell me if you're farming today, and if you are, what does that farm look like? How big is it? So I know we have a lot of people chatting in. So go ahead and can you show the results right there? Okay, so let's see what the results are going to be. So right now, from a results standpoint, it looks like we have a bunch of people farming, and 46% of you guys are doing about 0 to 250 in your farm. 32% though are not farming, so that's perfect. So this is really, I'm going to focus on some of the principles of farming, but for you guys who are farming right now, I'm going to give you some things and tactics to improve the ROI you're getting from a farming standpoint. So let's walk into how do you choose a farm. So if you're going to go after a geographic farm or a niche farm, what are the tips you should be thinking about to choose a farm? There's three things I kind of walk through when choosing a farm for an agent when we're starting out in the business. The first is you want to try to go after a farm that's not heavy in competition. Some of you on the line, if you're in California, if you're in New York, it's going to be a little harder for you because there's a lot more agents in those areas. But you want to try to find a farm that doesn't have heavy competition. And one of the reasons why I encourage that is because farming is a long-term game. So if someone's been at it for years, they've really been tilling that soil and pruning it and putting their brand recognition out there. So it's going to be a little harder for you. It's not impossible, so don't get discouraged. You're just going to have to up how many times you touch that farm, what you do from a marketing standpoint, but if you have the ability, try to choose a farm with very little competition. Second is, you want to focus on the households. How many households are in your farm? There's two things you want to think about here. The most logical one is, what type of equity can you put into this farm? What is your budget? Are you going to do sweat equity? Or are you going to do check equity? Meaning, are you going to get out there, pound the pavement, knock the doors, do the phone calls? Or are you going to write a check and start marketing and start letting someone else do it for you? You need to use your budget as a way to help you determine how big your farm should be, because you have to touch base with your farm consistently is what you're going to learn. So the concept here is, can you hit, if you choose a farm of 500 people, 500 homes, how often can you hit those people? You need to bare minimum, write this down, hit that farm one time a month, bare minimum. So you have to ask yourself, can you afford to do something from a marketing perspective to hit this group of houses at least one time, bare minimum a month? The second thing when it comes to farming is I encourage people, a lot of you are down there in the 0 to 250, which is not bad, but I would encourage you that you want to be over 150 in your farm. I see much more success, like when I tested this with my brother, we saw a lot more success consistently when we did 1,000+ homes, to be honest, than we did when we were down in the lower hundreds. One of the reasons why is there's this theory out there called the Dunbar theory. And if you haven't heard of the Dunbar theory before, guys, what the Dunbar theory is that you can keep relationships with about 150 people. So if you have 150 in your farm, you can just as easily and more cost effectively reach out to those people and build a relationship with them than from a farming perspective. And what I would tell you is farming inherently is going after people who have no idea who you are, and you're trying to awaken them to who you are, get known in their eyes, build mind share, as you might call it, and get them to actually start building a brand awareness for who you are. The third point is turnover rate. Now, this is where you find this is in your MLS, and you're literally, what you're doing is you're taking your area and you're going, how many homes sold in this area? And a good statistic for you here is that your turnover rate should be at minimum 5% for that area that you've chosen. Ideally, you'll be more than 5%. Maybe you get an area with 8%, 10%, 11% turnover, but you're literally dividing how many homes sold in the year versus how many homes are in that area where those homes sold. And you want to find that percentage, because think about it this way. You can now set your goal. If you choose an area of 500 homes, so a lot of you have a list of 500. If you choose an area of 500 homes, at a 5%, that's 25 homes that sell every year in that community. So now what do you have for yourself? You have a benchmark. You have the ability to go, I should be collecting some, maybe not all, but at least some of those 25 homes that are selling statistically in that area. So now let's move into, now that you know how to choose a farm, whether you're going niche or geographic, let's move into the 3 principles that you must build your farming foundation, your marketing plan on. This is not necessarily the actual tactic. I'm going to walk you through a strategy that you can implement tomorrow. These are the foundational principles that must guide your strategy. The first is you must do it consistently. I say this all the time, but I want to say it again because I hope it just resonates with you and drives home. You can't go to the gym one time and get a great body. You can't eat healthy one time and be healthy. There's literally hardly anything you can do in life one time and get great results. So you must focus on consistency when you plan out your marketing strategy. The second, which is probably the most important out of all principles, is you must focus on relevancy. Here's the key to marketing in all areas of marketing, even greater than farming. The key to marketing is relevancy. What do I mean? Guys, if you bought a car today and you watch a car commercial tomorrow from a marketing perspective, that car commercial is a waste of time for you. That 15 seconds of your life of that commercial means nothing to you. Why? Because it's not relevant. You just bought a car. You're in no need. So the more relevant you can get, the greater impact you can have. And the key to impact is action. When you create impact with people, it leads them to take action, and that action comes twofold. Maybe they go to a landing page and request a free valuation of their home and what their home's worth. Or maybe if you're doing it from a relationship side, they actually refer you out to one of their neighbors because you created impact with them. So you must, in the things you send and the things you do and the conversations you have, how are you being relevant to that community you're farming? And then third, very simplistic, but so many agents fail at this mark, is you must have visible branding. That means your face must be on there. What you're trying to brand your company as must be on every interaction that you do. A lot of people beat up real estate agents because they put their face on a bus or they put their face on a park bench. I think that's great to do. The reason why I say that is because you are the brand. Don't let anybody discourage you from showcasing your brand, that being in front of people 24/7, because if you're consistently in front of people, it's relevant and it creates impact. They see you, they're going to think of you, and that's ultimately what's going to lead to success. One of the reasons why I love farming so much is because I envision it like a pinwheel. Do you guys remember the pinwheels as kids? And as a pinwheel, it really takes a lot of energy to get a pinwheel going. But when that pinwheel starts going, it gets momentum and it literally starts going by itself. You don't have to put any effort into a pinwheel going. And that's what farming is. At first, it takes a lot of energy and effort. This is setting expectations for you. It takes a lot of energy and effort to get that farm going. You're going to have to hit that farm a lot of times. But look at this graphic that I put on the screen for you. I had my graphics team create it. It literally showcases why it exponentially grows when you do farming. Let's say you start out and you're sending mailers to this farm. You send it, what's it look like to sell your home, or what do you want a free valuation of what your home's worth? And you start doing that. It might take a lot of, mailers to start building that mind share, but then you get that one listing. And within that one listing, you go from, let's say, hitting this farm 1 or 2 times a month. Then all of a sudden you can send a just listed card out to everybody in that same area. You can then go door knock the 50 closest to 100 closest homes, or even every home in that community. All of a sudden you got two more touch points to solidify you as the agent that understands and knows this community, knows this market. Then you can host an open house. A tip for you when it comes to open houses: imagine if you go in and invite the 50 closest neighbors to a private open house before you release it for the market. Like, you literally can go and door knock and say, hey, I'm giving everybody in the neighborhood a chance to see the home before it actually does the real open house for the public. It's going to make them feel important. You're going to have everybody come in. Statistically, 2 homes come on the market, usually within 12 months after 1 home comes on the market. So then you sell the listing. Now you have another touch point. You can send a just sold card. You could go back and door knock to all the same homes and offer a free CMA if they're curious what the home sold for and what their home might be worth. If you're not getting what I'm throwing down here is that you literally go from 1 touch point a month to, as the listings start coming in, you start getting in that neighborhood where people see you everywhere, and you start building that mind share, and that is what results in people using you. That's why farming works. That's why it's so successful, is because people, I want you to actually write this number down if you're taking notes. Write down 76%. And then underneath that, write 24% down. 76% of people will use the first business that pops into their mind when they think of a product or a service. So if I say airlines right now, who do you think of? If I say beer, who do you think of? Guys, those brands, those businesses that popped into your mind as I said it, those are going to be the companies you use. So you should ask yourself, here's a question that all of us should ask ourselves and hopefully lead us to taking action. The neighbor that lives 2 doors down from you, if they needed a real estate agent today, would your name pop into their mind? Think about that. Think about that. The neighbor 2 doors down from you, have you branded in their mind that if you need any help with buying, selling, investing, think of me? That is the focus really of this farming. It's the idea of building your brand over time, consistently, relevantly connecting, creating impact, branding to you, so they ultimately choose you 76% of the time. 24% will choose the second business they think of. So if you're not first or second, you literally have no chance of getting the business. You must be first or you're last. That's what I tell agents all the time. How do you make sure people think of you? I call it industry synonymous. How are you synonymous with your industry? When they think real estate, they think Luke Acree. When they think Luke Acree, they think real estate. What is your preferred method of farming? This is a question I want to ask you guys because I want to walk you through now a specific strategy that you can use. But if you put that poll up on the screen, Jesse, I want you guys just to put, what is your preferred method and strategy of farming? Because I want to walk you through a specific strategy that you can use. But I also want to take this information because we're going to be doing more webinars and I want to teach you guys how to use these other methods that you're using today. So if you want to go ahead and close the poll, we'll put the answer up there on the screen. Are you guys following along? Chat me in the chat box real quick. Are you following along? You guys getting a lot of good info out of this so far? Awesome. So it looks like Gloria Smith, Steve, thank you. Terrence, awesome. Janice, Valen, Andrea, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So guys, Facebook advertising, 36% are using, 61% are using postcards, 13% are door knocking. Awesome. So we're going to take this data because we want to teach you just the tips and tricks for those as well. But here, let's walk through a specific strategy, and this is the strategy that I tested with my brother in the business, but I also have other agents that I work with that are doing this exact strategy. Just so you guys know, we work with about 40,000 agents this year alone. We will work with about 40,000 agents. So we are getting a ton of data and really being able to test what is working, what is not working, where is success coming from, where is it not coming from. Here's what I want to encourage you all to try in your business. It's called the 12 by 12 or the 12 direct strategy. How many of you have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent? So if you've read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, go ahead and click yes. I challenge everybody on my staff so you guys can understand. We have about 220 people employed here at ReminderMedia. Everyone on my staff, I encourage, and basically they'll tell you I beg, for lack of a better word, for them to read this book. You know, I've read this book so many times, but this 12 by 12 direct strategy, so 44% of you have read it, 56% no. So there's a huge opportunity for you guys here. This book is filled with so many amazing principles, and it doesn't matter. I know Gary Keller wrote it. It doesn't matter if you're in Keller Williams or another brand. The principles are really solid. I have spent years testing out these principles, trying them, talking with agents that have used them. But this 12 by 12 strategy has really proven to be successful for me over the years. And here's what it is. It's basically sending one piece a month to your farm. So one piece a month every month. And here's what I believe you have to combine it with, because it wasn't until we combined it with this effort that it turned into really generating the results that are there on the screen. The results that the Millionaire Real Estate Agent says they on average get is out of every 50 people you send to, you can get one transaction. So every 50 people you send a 12 by 12 to, so over the course of a year, you will get one transaction. The tip that I got to give you to add to this is you must add a tangible touch point and a physical touch point. That's a phone call, that's a door knock. I prefer the door knocking when it comes to this because getting face to face with somebody is super, super valuable in taking that lead to a transaction stage. But adding a door knocking or a phone call touch point once a quarter skyrocketed our success when we started doing this, because you can time it with the mailer hitting. You can time your door knocking campaign. And if you're scared of door knocking or scared of cold calling these leads that you're sending to, I have a challenge for you that I listened to a real estate agent speak how they were blowing it up in farming, and it really impacted me. And they said they were terrified of door knocking, but they said, you know what? My why is bigger than my fear. My goal is bigger than my fear. And that resonated with me and stuck with me. And I challenge you today. Remember, I asked you at the beginning of the webinar, what's your goal? Where are you at in terms of hitting your goal that you set out in January? What's your why? Is it your kids? Is it your family? Is it the vacation? Your why must be bigger than your fear, because then you will put into action the door knocking side of this, the cold calling side of this. But what you want to do is you want to send a mailer to your farm once a month. And for everybody on the line that thinks maybe direct mail is dead or direct mail is dying, I would encourage you, do not fall into that trap. Do not fall into that headline. My company alone has been doing direct mail stuff for 15 years. We are seeing an increase in actual ROI from what we're getting. But more importantly, I put some stats up there on the screen for you guys. I believe direct mail is resonating even more with people these days. It's because how many emails do you have in your inbox right now? You might have 40 emails that you quickly go through. Whereas direct mail, when you send something, not junk, but you send something of relevancy to them that's actually valuable, people in direct mail get a 5 to 9 times higher response rate than in email, social media, or paid search. Now, I'm going to add a caveat here because I want to be very real with you. Direct mail is going to cost you more than an email. Direct mail is going to cost you more than social media. But you should see a 5 to 9 times higher response rate. 76% of consumers trust direct mail when making a purchasing decision. 21% find it easier to recall. So they're going to remember direct mail. It's going to be more persuasive to them than digital. Why do I want to put that stat on the screen? What are we after? Remember the principle? We're after building mind share. We're after making impact. People remember, right, how you make them feel, not what you actually do. We want to create that impact with them. Here's an example for you of what your direct mail campaign can look like. In January, you send winter selling tips. In February, best home improvements. In March, you do a home analysis and you go door knock. And your door knocking campaign looks like this. You're in the community. You can start off by literally saying, hey, I'm in the community. You know, we just sold a house, if you did, right down the street. And I'm actually offering everybody a free CMA of their house if they're curious of what their house is worth. I have a ton of people that are interested to find out, so I felt I would offer it to you as well. Meaning you can literally just offer them a free CMA. Make sure when you door knock, make sure you capture their email address, make sure you capture their phone number if they'll let you. And the way to do that is literally just offering them more value. Hey, what's the good email address that I can send you more information and send you the CMA of what your home valuation's worth? Now, obviously, guys, you want to make sure in your door knocking that you are focused on the value. You're not focused on just gaining listings. You're focusing on giving value to the community. And that's why if you see in this 12 by 12 direct campaign that we've put out here as an example for you, it's really focused on what? It's focused on things that will interest the person you're sending it to, things that they might get into. And I always encourage people when it comes to marketing and you wonder what you should send, 2 categories. Educational, entertainment. Educational, entertainment. Send something educational to people, something that they can improve their life with. Send something entertaining to people. Those 2 things, if you focus in on that, it's very easy on the educational side to do what? To lead it to where people actually see you as the SME. Do you guys know what a SME is? Chat in if you know what a SME is. I'm curious if anybody on the line knows what a SME is. But a SME is a subject matter expert. So they'll see you from an educational standpoint as a subject matter expert in real estate. That's what you must get them to see. So Jeffrey knew what a SME was, so congrats, Jeffrey. So subject matter expert, and then what happens when they see you as a subject matter expert? It's that trust part of know, like, and trust. You mail to them to get them to know you. You send them relevant things to get them to like you. You educate them on the market to do what? To get them to trust you. So when the time comes that they need help with investing, they need help with selling their home, they think of you as the SME of this community, that no one knows this community better than Luke because I see him everywhere and he has listings all the time that come up and he's been such a value to me. So now what? Now that you know that, hey, look, here's what farming is. It's a long-term approach. It's, the principles are consistency. You must do something that's relevant. You must brand it to you. A 12 by 12 is the strategy you can use, how you choose a farm. Now what should you do? And here's my challenge to everybody. And I think this will resonate with some of you if you're business owners like myself, is that the hardest thing for me is I know what I need to do, But when I look at my desk, even right now, and I should show you guys, there's a pile of papers of good ideas and tasks that never come into fruition. And I want to challenge each of you that I know each of you right now could sit down and come up with your own 12 by 12. You could come up with ideas, but the problem is that you won't have the time and you won't be able to see it through to fruition, and it will sit on the pile of good ideas. And so it's exciting for me to even share this. This is something that's been years actually in the making, literally years, and it's taken blood, sweat, and tears for us. But we really can do this for you now. And I know this actually might come as a shock to a lot of our clients on the line. It's something that they've asked us literally for years to, hey, Luke, can you help me with lead generation? You're helping me with my referrals. You're helping me connect with my relationships. But can you help me generate leads so I can add those to my referral database, so I can add those to my relationship database? And the reason why I didn't do it, just being honest from the beginning, is because I wanted to make sure I wasn't just offering a new product, but I was offering something that I understood from a strategy standpoint, that I had tested myself, that I've seen work over and over again, so I can give you guys not only the highest quality product from a product standpoint, but more importantly, the strategies and the blueprints of how do you use the tool to actually build the house, to actually get return on investment. So I want you guys, everybody who uses the magazine, the quality of our stuff is gonna be at the quality of the magazine. The quality of the cover, if you have your magazine with you right now, feel the quality of that cover of the magazine. Our postcards are gonna be that level of quality. We're obviously going to be cost effective for you because you're our clients. Our goal is to get you great return on investment. But most importantly, one of the other things that held me back before doing postcards was making sure that not only could you send out the product, but you could target it to the people that you want to target it to. So I had to figure out, how do you go about doing geographic farms from the actual executable standpoint? Like, how do you get the zip codes? How do you target people? And we always found that we could target people geographically, but we weren't able to get to the demographics, and the demographics can really help enhance your results. And so finally we were able to figure out, after years of working on this, of partnering up and being able to offer you guys the ability to target a zip code, not just geographically, but you can literally target from the demographic standpoint, whether they're a homeowner, they're a renter, their income level, these type of things that you can really narrow down so you can do what? You can apply the second principle, which is be as relevant, as impactful as you possibly can. We're going to put together, obviously, the things that I talked about, giving you the education side and the entertainment side. So the education side, all of you who have a listing right now, you can put your GIST listings, you can put your GIST solds, your open houses. We can do that for you, and you can do market updates and stuff. But even on the entertainment side, we have July 4th right around the corner. You guys can send out a July 4th barbecue type postcard. You can do something where you can actually target them from an entertainment standpoint. But the best part is that I want you guys to choose to do the 12 by 12 direct program. That's what we ultimately want to do. We don't want you guys just to do one time here and there. We want you to do consistently, so you generate the 1 out of 50 people you send it to from an ROI standpoint. We want to put together a monthly mailing for you so you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about it. And once a month, we've created a really impactful mailing that will allow you to touch base with your farm and accomplish the 3 foundational principles that will ultimately generate that success for you. So, what do you think the ROI on something like this would be? Because that's what's the most important. Just going back to the mission statement that runs my company is we want to empower you to close more deals and retain the clients you have. So it ultimately has to generate success. What do you think something like this should produce ROI? Here is what I'm holding myself to. This is what I've told and trained up all of my coaches. When I'm working with my brother, this is what I'm after. Let's use the example of 250 postcards times 12 months. It would cost you $3,240. That's 250 clients targeted, and at a 2% conversion rate, and that's using the 1 out of 50 customers, so 1 out of every 50 you send to, you're going to get from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it would be 5 clients. If your average sale price right now, it's around $200,000 in America, and your commission is 3%, you're going to be generating $30,000 in GCI. So you can see that your net return should be a minimum of $26,760. That's what we're after as we do these postcards. We're after focusing in consistently, so over 12 months you can look back and you can see that your return on investment has well been worth it. And the beautiful part about this is that when you generate these 5 listings in your farm, the way for you that have farms today that aren't getting that ROI like this, the way to increase that is the leads that come in immediately within 24 hours go to their door and give them a gift. And the perfect gift to give them is your American Lifestyle magazine. Pop by their home, have a customized magazine specifically for your farm to hand out to people that are new leads, because we customize the letter specifically for that, and pop by their house with the magazine as a gift and capture from those 5 new clients, capture the 3 to 5 referrals that the National Association of Realtors says on average you will get from a past client. So this thing can exponentially grow. And we want to encourage action takers. If you listen to our podcast, if you've listened and followed me on social media, I tend to always close with saying take action. You know the good idea. You see the results that Gary Keller is saying that you can get, that I've seen through my brother Steven, that I've worked and really seen the success myself. Take action on that. If you take action, we want to reward it and give you 20% off your first order. I believe the 20% off, honestly, is irrelevant. I believe it will produce the value for you to where it won't even matter. But if you put in the Farming for You code on our print.remindermedia.com, you can get 20% off your order and experience, guys, this strategy of the 12 by 12 so we can start generating that return on investment for you through those clients. And those 5 new clients can then be added to your database to get American Lifestyle Magazine. And American Lifestyle Magazine then on average produces a 38% referral rate. So you can get 38% referrals from those 5 new clients. So I want to encourage you all to give this a chance to experience it and experience the turnkey-ness of it. And take action on actually implementing a strategy that you will consistently stick to, that you know is not an instant gratification game, but it's a long-term game. I want to drive home, just as we're closing here, I want to drive home before I open it up for questions, that if you're farming today, even if you don't use our postcards and you're already got your farming figured out, take advantage to increase your success by dropping by the leads that actually come through your farming campaigns today. Take them the magazine. The reason why I say that is I've seen this work so many times, because what are you trying to do when you get a lead? You're trying to make an unbelievable impression. Because what they think of you, that impression they have on you, is ultimately going to dictate whether they stay with you. And this magazine is an unbelievable impression piece for you to leave with them, and it's non-salesy. It's just a gift that represents how you take care of your clients, and ultimately they're going to know 3 to 5 people that they can refer you to, which is a potential of 15 to 25 potential clients if you just get that return on investment of 5 new clients. For all of our people on the line that don't use the magazine, the postcard offering is truly only for our clients. This is something that, we want to increase the ROI for our clients. We want to fulfill our mission. But I want to give something for you. If you're interested in becoming a customer of the magazine, using it to generate referrals for your business, I want to give you 20% off your first mailing there, and then give you the ability to capture the same thing on the postcard side, because I appreciate you guys being on the webinar, and my ultimate goal is to generate that ROI. So I'm going to open it up for questions right now to everybody on the line. I know we got a ton of questions that came in. We probably won't be able to get to every question, but really appreciate you guys' questions, and we're going to try to reach out to every one of you if you're a client with our coaches to make sure we answer your question. So go ahead and send your questions in.
All right, the first question was from Carla. Does that price include postage?
Yeah, that's a great question. It does include postage. So one thing that's different about us is that we're not going to nickel and dime you through the process. So it's not like, I don't want to name any other companies, but it's not like you get this price and then all of a sudden if you want it in color, it's 5 cents more per postcard. And if you want to send it out, now you have to pay 30 cents for shipping and handling. That includes postage included. So there's no hidden fees in there at all. But that's a great question.
next question was from Milana. Do you help narrow down a farm location for us?
Yes, we can do that for you. Now, here's the thing. We'll work with you. We don't have access to your MLS, but you do, obviously. And so we'll work with you and coach you that, hey, look, here's how you take your MLS. You need to find out how many homes sold. And it's a simple formula. You're finding out how many homes sold in the past year in this community. And a great tool for you guys is Batch Geo. So if you already have sold homes and you don't have a farm list, use this website called batchgeo, I believe.com. It might be GeoBatch. I might be getting it backwards, but I think it's batchgeo.com. And you can put in all the addresses of the homes you've sold, and it will create a map for you, a little pinpoints on the map of all your home. And what that will do is it will show you maybe the natural farm area that you have, where you're already selling homes, where you already have mind share. So it's a great little tip to help you come up with where your farm should be. And then another cool thing about that is you can take that map and do what? You can put it on a postcard and showcase to everybody in that community all the homes you've sold to kind of not brag, but showcase your expertise. So great question. We can definitely help you with that.
All right. The next question is from Debbie. What is the lead time for postcards?
So that's a great question. So it depends on your location. So depending on where you're located, because we obviously use shipping carriers, it's going to take a little bit longer on the West Coast than it would on the East Coast for us, but we can usually get those out to your people within a week and a half to 2 weeks.
All right. And then Aaron asked, are postcards good to send to regular clients like the magazine or for farming?
So I would encourage you for farming only. And here's why I would say that is the only caveat would be your budget. And because my mission is to empower you to close deals and retain your business, I want to speak to you in real terms. Some people don't have the budget to do the magazine. And so if you don't have the budget to do the magazine, I can understand why you would send a postcard to your core clients. But the reality of this is that the magazine is better for your core clients because of the impact that it creates and the value that it represents when you send it. It's perceived as a gift, whereas a postcard is not going to be perceived as a gift. The postcard is really, the goal of a postcard from a marketing standpoint is a little bit like a billboard and building that brand awareness. You're trying to build that mind share in people, and that's why, if you remember in the webinar, what was the tangible action thing that you had to put into place to really drive home this one transaction out of 50? You have to combine the billboard with a touch point that's physical. That is what I've seen work time and time again. If you just send out the postcard, it's not that you're not going to get any effect from the billboard, but your results are not going to be one transaction for every 50 on average. You have to give a touch point through a phone call. A pop by is such an amazing way to do it. Is pop by the people's house, offering them a free CMA. So I would encourage you, postcards really are focused on farming. The magazine is for your core clients, because think of it like sending a Hallmark card to somebody. You can send this magazine, which has more impact for a Hallmark card, but it's more cost effective than a Hallmark card. A Hallmark card is going to cost you, $6 on average. The magazine is going to cost way less than that. And so that's why I would encourage you send the magazine for your core clients and then the postcards for your farm. Great question though.
I just wanted to kind of give this testimonial from Joe. He said, I've been farming 2 different areas for 27 plus years, about 110 to 115 homes in each, and I have sold more houses in both of those farms than any other agent ever because of all the things Luke recommends. Consistency, every 4 to 6 weeks, direct mail, door knocking, all of it. So thank you so much, Joe. All right, Linda. The Batch website is actually batchgeo.com, so I confirm that.
Thank you.
And then I have a question from Gwen on how much customization is possible.
So that's a great question. And obviously, depending on what you would want to do, I would have to see your idea. The postcard, we have a ton of different templates. And it's pretty much, I hate to say, my guys are going to kill me. It's like a blank canvas. Within the dimensions of what we can print, obviously with the paper that we're using, it's pretty much a blank canvas if you want some custom work done. But the best thing to do is get on the phone with your coach, with marketing services. If you call 610-878-5000, again, that's 610-878-5000. You can reach out to our marketing services, our client success coaches, and they will walk you through what the different templates are. And then if you want something custom, they'll walk you through kind of the dimensions depending on the postcards you choose. But it's a great, great question.
So this was a question from Rebecca. How do I make face-to-face contact when farming high-rises where the access is difficult?
Yes, so that's a great, great question. So, this goes across the board for, a lot of people who are in high rises, or if you're in a community that doesn't allow you to solicit. So you gotta obviously abide by that, because it's not gonna do you a good service to, be breaking the law or something. I would encourage you to focus on some type of community event. Right? And so your key here is going to be able to partner in a high-rise building. A lot of times you have people that, obviously manage that building. And can you build relationships with the people there that manage the building at the front desk? And can you offer to do some type of event, a community type event, something that you can do of value that would give you the ability to get in and start getting face time with at least a subset of that high rise. And then from getting that community event or inviting them to something like an event that you throw in the building, you can then network through those people to get access to all the neighbors through the natural of referring, networking. It's trickier, obviously, in a high rise to use the door knock and door drop campaign. So door dropping is when you actually drop something off of value at their door. It's more difficult because you have to get permission, and the best way I've seen it done is doing some type of, I call it a community event, but some type of event in that building if possible. And a lot of times the building managers, they're looking for nice things to do for the community that they don't have to spend money on to make the lifestyle of living in that apartment in that high-rise building better than the next one, because the building manager obviously wants to keep people. And so you just have to start building and networking a relationship with them, which is not as difficult as it sounds. But it's a great, great question. So we're going to wrap it up there because it looks like I was just looking at the time and we want to honor the time commitment that we made. So guys, all these questions that are coming in, we want to answer them. We'll be reaching out to you if we didn't get your question. We're going to be reaching out to you if you're a client of ours to try to answer them. I want to encourage you guys to take action. I want to encourage you that whether you use us or don't use us, the real key to having success in real estate, we work in over 140 different industries. The real key is making sure that you take action. Success is really just failing your way to success. I call it micro testing. It's this kind of trifecta of you want to take action, you want to track your results, and then you want to pivot when things aren't working. And if you do that, that's where success will come from. Now, the number to reach out to us is 610-878-5000. Again, it's 610-878-5000, or go to print.remindermedia.com. Remember, the difference between a mediocre producer and a top producer. In every industry that I've ever had the privilege of coaching and mentoring and working in, is top producers take action. So take action on a tip you've heard. Take action today to grow your business and hit your goal in 2019. Thank you guys so much.